Welcome back to another episode of Football Pie Prediction Special on the all new Football Pie YouTube page. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Friday night kickoff at 8 o'clock, Goodison Park, Everton versus Crystal Palace. What do you reckon, James?
I've gone for a 2-1 myself. I think with Baines potentially coming back into the team, he's 50-50 at the moment. It could be very important to the team. Everyone's eyes going to be on Balassi, but we know it's going to be a high energy game. Everton throughout the season have played a bit better, so I've gone for a 2-1.
Yeah, likewise with me. Would be good for Everton to get Baines back. I've gone for 3-1 actually for Everton. I think Palace had a bit of a let-off at Sunderland last week. Despite it being a very good comeback, Sunderland were very poor defensively, and I don't think Everton are going to make the same mistakes. So yeah, I've gone for 3-1 Everton. Next up, early kickoff on Saturday is Swansea-Liverpool. Start with me this time. I've gone for a 4-2 Liverpool win. I think Swansea were impressive attacking against City, and I think they will also cause Liverpool problems, so that's why I've gone for 2 goals from Swansea. But Liverpool, as we all know, are impressing so far. Like it? You like it? And so we're going to see lots of goals from them. 2 attacking teams, 4-2.
I think very similar to Michael. I think it'll be a very similar game to the City one for Swansea. Trying to keep up with Liverpool's pace and energy, but potentially slowly withering right at the end. So I've gone for a 2-0 myself. And now to the KC Stadium with Hull Chelsea. I've gone for a 2-0 win for Chelsea. I just think, even though they've got their centre-back problems with John Terry and Kurt Zouma still being out and Cahill not in the best of forms, they'll definitely still they have more of the attacking threat definitely in this game. I think Hull don't really have much in the way of that. It's going to be quite a stale game, but I think Chelsea are looking to put those two losses behind them and push on and get a win here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's going to be 2-1 Chelsea, so it will be a tight game and Chelsea will just edge it, but just because of that extra attacking quality they have. Like you said, you allude to the defensive problems. I think Conte has got a lot of work to do here. And yeah, just shore up that defence. They just need more protection around that defence because it's looking weak at the moment. But yeah, 2-1 Chelsea. Now up to the Stadium of Light for Sunderland versus West Brom. Sunderland desperately need the win, but I don't think they're going to get it. It's for me, it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Sunderland will have improved since last week after their defensive fallout against Crystal Palace. But yeah, I still don't see them getting the win. 1-1.
Yeah, I've gone for a 1-0 West Brom win away. I think that Sunderland are missing quite a few key players, such as likes of Pienaar, Januzaj, Sepp Larsson. He's out for quite a while, but big players that are missing from Sunderland. They might have got to the best start. West Brom, Rondon always seems to come up with a goal. Hence, I've gone for a 1-0 West Brom win.
Now down to Vicarage Road for an intriguing clash between Watford and Bournemouth. I've gone for a 2-2 draw here. I think Watford have something to prove after a pretty dire performance against Burnley. Bournemouth will also come into this game confident after their win against Everton, and I'm really interested to see how the midfield battle goes, especially someone like Etienne Capoue coming up against 2 informed midfielders in Jack Wilshere and Harry Arter. So I think there's going to be goals in this. But I think spoils are going to be shared. It's going to be 2-2. What do you reckon, James?
I've gone for a bit of a different one. I've gone for a 3-2 win for Watford. Yeah. I feel they've just got that little bit more of attacking threat. I think the midfield battle will definitely be where this game is won, but Watford do have that little bit more of an attacking threat. This does depend quite heavily on whether Josh King is back. They're saying he could be back for this game. He's very important for their attack, Bournemouth, that is. But yeah, so I've gone for a 3-2 win for Watford at home.
And now across to East London, to the London City Stadium. The cursed London City Stadium, where West Ham are taking on Middlesbrough. What do you have to say about that?
I think West Ham, hopefully, they will be in better spirit after their night out allowed by Stefan Bilic. So I do think there'll be a bit more of a unity in the team. They still have a huge injury list with big players, Cresswell, Carroll, Ayew and Sacco still out. But I do feel that this is going to be... They're going to win. They're going to have to win a game. So I've gone for a 1-0 West Ham win. Middlesbrough looking a bit mediocre. I mean, they had a good start, but looking very mediocre. They've got a good attacking threat, but I think I'm not expecting too much from them in this game.
I actually think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. I thought West Ham were going to salvage something last week against Southampton, but I was really disappointed by their performance. Borough as well aren't in the best of form, but they didn't do too badly against Spurs, who played very well. 2 poor defences, so I think it's going to be a lot of goals. So yeah, 3-2 to Middlesbrough.
Now on to Sunday's game, Man United Stoke. I've gone for a 2-0 win for Man United. I feel Rooney out and Pogba in is a very important change. I think it was needed, and it's shown to have worked in their last game. I think the grappling in the box for Stoke has really impacted them. I mean, they were a big physical team last season. With this new rule coming in, it's definitely affected their performance, especially in the box. So I think that's it's hard for them to readjust to that. They're in poor form at the moment, so yeah, 2-0 United.
Yeah, I've actually gone for the same result. Rare that we'll go for the same United result, but I've gone for 2-0 United as well. Yeah, Stoke have improved a lot against West Brom last week, but they're not going to have enough. I think they're going to really struggle against the combined threat of Ibrahimovic and Rashford up top. And yeah, if Pogba has a game like he did against Leicester, then it's going to be very difficult to stop the team. But yeah, I've gone for 2-0 United. And down to United's last victims, Leicester, who take on the informed Southampton at home. What have you got to say, James?
I've gone for a 2-1 win for Southampton this one. I think Southampton are extremely organised, and they've shown that in their past 6 odd games. I mean, they've hardly conceded a goal. I think it's about 2 goals in that 6-game stretch. Very organised, very well, put out forward and back. I do feel that the grappling once again for Stoke is affecting Leicester. It's more so Leicester than Stoke. With obviously Huth and Morgan both being quite physical players in the box. So I've gone for, as I said, 2-1 win for Southampton.
Similar sort of game I've gone for, but I've gone for a 1-1 draw. I think Leicester will be buoyed by the fans and the general atmosphere following their big win against Porto midweek. It'll be a tight game with good attacking play from both sides. So 1-1.
Now on to White Hart Lane, Spurs City. What do you think about it, Michael?
I'll tell you my prediction in a little song I've made up about Human Song. Do you want to hear it?
I don't really have much choice, guys.
No. Sun is shining and the Spurs look sweet, yeah. Makes you wanna move your passing feet, yeah. Pep Guardiola,
oh God, it goes on.
Where's your defence gone? In the pocket of a man called Human Song. I've just given some great.
That's gold.
That is gold.
Yeah.
That'll be roaring from the stands of White Hart Lane this weekend when Human Song inevitably scores 2 goals for Spurs to take it 2-1. I think Spurs are going to win 2-1. I think this is the first big test that Guardiola's come up against. Pochettino is a real match for this guy. I think they've got. I don't know, they're a good matchup, and I think Spurs just look very organised at the moment, defensively as well as attackingly. Son seems to have made up for Kane's absence so far. 3 goals in his last 2 games, and just looks like an absolute live wire. So I think he's gonna don it. But the only way I can see City. I'm going to go for 2-1, but I think if Sterling puts in a big performance, then we could see it go the other way. But for me, 2-1.
I've gone for a 1-0 City win. I think it's going to be a very tough game for us. I think, as you said, it's going to be the biggest challenge that we'll have so far. We do have some big injuries and some players out, but our depth in our team is fantastic, so that shouldn't really be an excuse no matter what. But I do think it'll be a very tough game. I think it'll be a very, very good game for a 1-0. But yeah, 1-0 City.
And finally, Monday evening, we go back up to Turf Moor, where Arsenal are now the visitors. Arsenal are just on one of those runs at the moment, aren't they? They're just on one of those runs. So I've gone for a 3-0 win. And I reckon Walcott may just score for a 4th consecutive game. Which I don't know when the last time he did that or ever has done that in an Arsenal shirt. Who knows? But yeah, Burnley were good against Watford last week, but their defence isn't the most formidable, and coming up against this Arsenal attack in the form they're in, they're just going to get taken apart. So 3-0.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add. I think the attacking important players are playing fantastically. The 2 centre-backs look like they're working really well for Arsenal. The whole team really seems like they're working as a unit, working together and working well, which is very important. I think it would just be an absolute rout for them, way too much for Burnley. So I'm going for a 4-0 win for Arsenal. Okay, so here's the full table for this week's predictions, as well as the scores from last week's one. We'll keep them tallied up for you as we go on. We do have a podcast up, so make sure you check that out on our SoundCloud. The link will be in the description below.
Also, check out the Football Pie blog, link in the description below. where you can find my take on the departure of Fat Sam from the England Managers Post. Also, please just like, comment, subscribe, generally get involved in the Football Pie discussion. You are all very welcome to join us in this great discussion.
Adventure,
yeah. Adventure that is the Premier League. So yeah, thanks very much for watching once again, and we will see you next week.
See you next week. Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah.